Underneath the weight of dreams she stands, building bridges with trembling hands. A figure of hope in a world so vast. She's reaching for a future that will last.
Good stuff. We are talking about how to find joy in your financials. Now, I know this is a topic that is very dear to your heart, Nick Barnstall.
Well, you've got to get in the nitty-gritty to work out what's going on, don't you?
Yeah, indeed. And you know what we know a lot of business owners are. There is the word intimidated, head in the sand, don't
Scared.
really want to know, scared. And that could come from a number of places. It could be they don't actually understand what they're looking at, so they find it confronting, or it's not what they expected, it's not performing as they expected, and they really are not sure how to fix it. So there's an element of avoidance sitting there, which is the scared piece. So let's do a bit of a dive into that. I know you've definitely got a bunch of things to say about that, Nick.
Well, I wasn't actually quite sure what the topic is, but yeah. Look, I'm glad it's that one because I guess I don't need a lot of preparation. But you know, I think that it's money and finance is just so important in our everyday lives. Yet we don't give it. Typically speaking, most people don't give it 1 ounce of time, attention, thought. Everybody says that they'd like to have more money. Or more financial capability, but they don't actually live it. They don't spend any more time with that. And to fix a problem, you've got to identify what the issue is and then make the changes. And so that's really deep diving into the starting point is acknowledging that I need to learn more about this particular part of my life, because actually it's theirs almost every other part of our lives.
Indeed. And, we often speak about the fact that money is the fuel to your business, right? And to your life. It is the vehicle that enables you to, if you're not the person who just wants to do this for money, but you want the money to be able to enable you to do the things that you're deeply passionate about, well, you need to give it the attention it deserves. This wall that people put up around money, a lot of business owners I know have a feeling of lack of control in their business. So to get clarity about what's going on around the financials, what it enables you to do, actually gives you that control back, right? It enables you to make good decisions.
It is all about taking control and not just going along for the ride. And I would suggest to any business owner, any person, and the first step that you can make is every morning, start of every day, check your balances on all your accounts. I have a spreadsheet, all the different companies, all the accounts for those companies, and go through and I populate the balances on all of those. So that's the starting point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, if those are low, then that's a motivation to then go out. Okay, right now I need to go and do the thing. But number one is just identifying. Do you actually even know? Some people are too scared to look at their bank account.
I know.
Some people are too scared to do that, but so that's the start. Is just start the day that way. Now, when I've got excesses in there, then I want to push those excesses out into other areas.
Generate more
invest
income.
That money to generate more income. Which business activity, which investing activity, where else can I deploy that so that I can bring that money back down to a low amount, bring it back down towards zero, and then go and have that motivation again to go and top it up. And so it's a continuous cycle, right?
Yeah.
Because the more that I go and deploy that, the more keeps coming back. The more I deploy, the more keeps coming back. So it just keeps going. And if it's at a low level, and at least I've found out that it's at a low level at the start of the day, to ramp up my motivation and to ramp up my my urgency to go and fill that up. And that's something I've done for decades and decades of my life.
Yeah. And I guess what is really great about that is doing that activity in the morning. Like you might have a bunch of sales sitting in the pipeline that simply need some phone calls to close them out, get some invoicing out. It might be that it's simply you haven't sent the invoices out. It could be as simple as that. And you go, right, that activity needs my focus first up today. Let's get the funds in the door, so that anxiety is not there, right? You go.
They talk about, there's old saying is swallow the frog whole. So do the
Yes.
things that you don't want to do at the start
Yeah.
of the day. And for most people, those are financial things. For most people, the sales, and these two are connected. You need the sales and the revenue in the business to go and make the profitability. You need to understand the finances, what's going on in there, to take control. And all of those two activities are linked, and that's why it's so important to get them done at the start of the day. Get your finances done early before you get bogged down into everything else, and then as soon as you get in, get your sales, your sales activities, your revenue generating activities, your profitability sorted out, in the early on in the morning, and then shift your other ones, the ones that you don't mind doing, push them to the back end, because you're going to do those because you don't mind doing those things.
Yeah.
The things like sales and money and finance, which most people don't like doing, they like to leave those to the end of the day, and then, I'm too tired now, I don't want to do those things.
Yeah, and so they procrastinate some further. And you make good reference to Eat the Frog. That's actually a great little book. Like, there's videos across Google as well. It's a really quick read, listen, watch, and it's dealing with procrastination and things that you're putting off. So it's been around for years. I can highly recommend going to jump into that. So, some of this control piece, like, we've got a heap of resources that speak to that, will give that you can access the resources to monitor and maintain and get comfortable with financials. If one of the aspects of our listeners in their barrier to being comfortable with financials is that your lack of knowledge, well, then as the owner, you need to go and fill that skill gap. So we've got tools and resources amongst many of our programs with glossaries about all the common terminology in layman's terms, so that you can actually understand that. A lot of misconception is, well, the money in my bank account doesn't actually equal my net profit, what I've got left at the end of financial year. And that's a really important distinction that you need to understand, right? Absolutely critical to get that that's the case. And the other piece that's really important is, if you've got a cash flow forecast, which is giving you the crystal ball or the insight as to what's going to be happening to your cash flow throughout the next period, whether it's a day, a month, a week, a year, if you pop in the actual cash that's sitting in your bank account, you can then see the consequences of what's going to happen in the near future with your cash flow, so you can prepare and take action to fill any gaps or holes. Or if there's a surplus, as you say, how can I better leverage that? Do I need to go and buy some more stock to go and get more sales coming through the door, get some sales activities going? All these things, actually, it's the confidence that control gives you, that you can then make some really great decision, because knowing what your financials look like is data. And data is critical for making any business decision. Like, you can make decisions without it, but whether it's going to be a good or a bad or the right decision, you're going to be at higher risk of it maybe going pear-shaped. So, this control piece and clarity, that is what we're talking about today.
Yeah, there's three key things. If we leave people with, there we go, three. There we go. Three key things we want to leave people with, from this is that three things that most people do that you should not do. One is burying your head in the sand and not looking at what is your balances, what is your cash position. Okay. The second one is when there is some cash there, people go and spend it out on dumb stuff.
Stupid stuff. Yeah.
That is not going to generate any more income, or not at least give yourself a chance to generate any more income. And the third and the last one is to the hoarders out there, those ones that actually like to accumulate and build up cash in there and hoard that cash and save it. Save it all for the rainy day, and these emergencies and the just in cases, and just sit there and sit on it like it's an egg waiting for it to hatch. And all that's happening is it just erodes, and it's not eroding with what you're going to spend it on. It's going to erode with inflation and the cost of living and all of that stuff around. So you need, as soon as it's there, you need to start to deploy it on something that's actually going to accelerate its value beyond the depreciation of the dollar, no matter which country you're in. So, you've got to get out. So those three things. Now, I'd say most people watching this fall into the category of at least one or two of those three. And if you want to know more about, how to deal with money, what you should be doing with it, and particularly as we approach into tax time, we've got a webinar, haven't we?
We have. You stole my thunder. We absolutely do. So we've got a webinar on the 26th of this month on a Thursday at 1 p.m. And it's our tips on preparing for end of financial year, but also preparing you for the new financial year. So there's some great tips in that. It's a 30 minute free tutorial webinar. And the great thing is we've just been, except that particular tutorial is now part of the Queensland Small Business Month. So supported by Queensland Government. Super excited that they see the value in that. So, which is awesome. So tell everybody it's 30 minutes of your time to get some quick tips that you can implement to be ready for the end of financial year and prepare yourself for the new financial year. So we're very excited for that one.
It's an important time of year, and most people don't acknowledge how important it is and what a difference it can make for you for your next 12 months of business and in your personal life. So come and join us on that. Love to see you there. Go and sign up, navigatebiz.com. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please jump in and press the subscribe button. And if you're not watching on YouTube, please jump into YouTube and go and subscribe.